These days, I'm sure that we can all agree that life is becoming increasingly challenging, especially when it comes to our finances. But this doesn't have to deter you from eating healthily. So to help us get a handle on how to eat healthily on a budget is Christine Baxter, who is a nutritional advisor and a health coach. Christine, this conversation is, to me, a myth-busting conversation because I think it's amazing how misperceptions make people think that eating healthily has to be expensive. Why has this perception developed out there?
Okay, so most of the time I'd say people use it as an excuse. No, but definitely the concept of healthy eating has developed a stigma that it's really expensive, you can't do it if you're on a budget, that kind of thing. So if you look at it, if you're going to go for the processed alternatives like your gluten-free bread, your gluten-free crackers, things like that, yes, it is going to become expensive, okay? But if you keep it to the basics, which we will cover now, you'll see that it is actually something that can be done on a budget, and just making some small changes to your diet will really increase your health, all right? Even if you're struggling with certain, illnesses or low energy, things like that, there are small things that you can do that you can afford on a budget that'll really make a difference.
Question, and it might be a controversial one for some, but how dramatically implicated is the marketing and media industry in creating this perception that healthy food is expensive?
Okay, so it's definitely something that has money put behind it, put it that way. Okay, so a lot of people are caught up in the fad diets as well as the marketing schemes that are out there, okay? So for example, putting a healthy label on something, saying vegans, gluten-free, no trans fats or low fats, etc., etc. These are all marketing that has actually, changed our perception and affected what we buy on a daily basis. I mean, I'll give you an example. Putting the word whole wheat on Cocoa Pops doesn't make it healthy,
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
Whereas we've obviously, some knowledge that we have, okay, whole wheat is going to be, it's a healthier alternative, but look at what it's on, all right? And at the end of the day, a gluten-free biscuit is still a biscuit,
Yes,
all right?
yeah.
So people are thinking that, okay, it's an scapegoat in terms of using, believing these marketing strategies, these labels that are out there, but you've really got to look at what the food is at the end of the day, because that hasn't changed. Processed food is still processed food, and using that in marketing is, look at the cost of it. It's definitely going to increase it.
Yeah, absolutely.
A comparison was done where an entire trolley, okay, so in a normal grocery store, entire trolley that's filled with processed foods, etc., compared to going and buying your fruit and vegetables at a fruit and veg shop, all right, it actually turned out to be more expensive, all right, because not only are processed foods more expensive than your average fruit and vegetables, okay, but also you have so much temptation that's in the way, all right. Obviously you've got your, your sugar-laden sauces, you've got all those, easy fast foods, things that are in front of you, all right. So this is also going to lead to overspending because you haven't planned your meals, as well as, not sticking to the basics, all right. And it's so possible to do, taking away all that paraphernalia that's put out there, all that marketing's out there, and literally just looking at what you can do to stick to your budget but still eat healthily.
So let's go there. Now, we've got a budget, we need to eat healthily. What would be the founding principle, the fundamental principle of maintaining a healthy diet on a budget in your mind?
Okay, so first of all, protein. As we know, protein you need for energy, sustains the body, and obviously is really good for balancing blood sugar levels, right? So in every meal you want this element of protein. So your most affordable sources of protein are actually of your vegetarian sources. So it's going to be your legumes, your beans, your chickpeas, that kind of thing. Eggs are also a nice budget-friendly option, all right? But what is quite nice about these sources of protein is that you can actually batch cook them as well, okay? So this will help with meal planning, but also what is quite nice about this is, say it's a busy week and you're tired from work, and this is normally when we go to takeaways,
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
And this is because it's an easy option, etc., etc. But if you've gone and batch cooked, okay, you have these protein sources already made, all right, you can easily go and whip up a quick meal with them, and now you've already gone and saved yourself time as well as money because you're not spending extra on takeaways.
Absolutely.
So protein, that is what I would definitely recommend for protein. Then obviously you want your fiber, which you're going to get through your fruit and vegetables. Okay, so fiber obviously helps with our metabolism, it helps us to feel full, and obviously also regulates, keeps us regular. Okay, so for your vegetables, you want to look at obviously five different ones per day. Okay, and for your fruit, it's about 2, but keeping to your lower fruit, your lower sugar fruit, so that's like your watermelon, your berries, your plums, that kind of thing. But with the vegetables, what you want to do is you want to definitely look at eating the rainbow, okay, throughout the week to make sure that you get those immune boosting nutrients. Okay, so a really good tip for this is, first of all, you do yourself a favor, do a comparison. Go to the grocery store and see what those fruits and vegetables are compared to pricing of going actually straight to a fruit and veg market, okay, and even the butcher, for example. Okay. It actually turns out to be much cheaper. And don't underestimate the quality of frozen vegetables. All right, so this is actually a really good tip for those that are cooking for one, or living on their own, that kind of thing, and don't enjoy cooking but need to get in your vegetables. All right, getting frozen vegetables, so generally they keep their nutrient content because they're normally frozen very soon after being picked. And like I said, and most of the time then you'll find that it eliminates waste as well. So that's a really good option. Yeah. Okay. And then let's have a look at your good fats. Okay. So your good fats will be, your sources are going to be your tuna, your sardines, your mackerel, things like that. So your oily fish. Okay. You can also get it from your flaxseed and your chia seeds. Remember, the body loves your omega-3s. So it's going to boost the mood, it's going to reduce inflammation, and it's obviously also going to help with your skin, things like that. But now if we look at budget sources, okay, so as we know, avocados can be quite expensive. So we look at getting them in season as a good option. Olives are affordable. A really nice tip as well is using your tinned salmon and your tinned tuna in salads and lunches. Going for frozen fish, ultimately it's going to be cheaper at the end of the day. But also looking at things like your chia seeds. Okay, your chia seeds you can buy in bulk reasonably, and you can put them into smoothies and muesli and things like that, and those can really help to increase your protein content, and like I said, it helps with batch cooking as well as definitely making the budget stretch.
Yeah, I think two key things that I want to just highlight there in terms of what you said. One is the use of frozen vegetables, which is really like it's easy and it's convenient, and as you said, less wastage because your veggies aren't going to go off. Yes. So it eliminates another excuse. Then the other one was in terms of eating things in season, because the seasonal fruit and veg are at their best quality wise. Yes. And also you can literally compare prices, and sometimes a head of broccoli is up to half the price when it's actually in season. So shop smartly and shop what's there. You know, I think it's such a great tip to people. So what would some of the other tips be that you might have in terms of getting people to shift their mindset around healthy food and the cost of healthy food?
It's changing your mindset around actually how you're eating. So, focusing on that protein, focusing on your vegetables, but keeping your carbohydrates down to a minimum, all right? And the way that you would actually do this is to actually, instead of loading up on carbs, is actually loading up on vegetables. Okay. All right? And if you are going to do the carbohydrates, then going for those that are the healthier options, which is your brown rice or your whole wheat bread, and obviously another one which is, instead of going for a potato, go for a sweet potato.
Absolutely,
small things like that.
Or butternut or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So small things like that they're healthy, they're sustainable, but they're not processed. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And another ways you can cut your carbs is, instead of doing like a bread roll, you do like a portobello mushroom in a burger, or instead of doing spaghetti in spaghetti bolognese, you can do zucchini pasta, things like that. Yeah. If you actually had to look at the comparison between, say, for example, a sugary breakfast cereal, which actually have astronomical prices on these days, when you had to change your breakfast to something that included some fruit, and then like an egg with like a piece of whole wheat toast, you'll be amazed actually it would cut the cost down drastically.
And far more satiating as well.
Yes, and it is the healthier option.
Absolutely.
And time is obviously always against us, and that is why we always lean to processed foods. So that's definitely one thing that I teach in my health coaching practice as well, is the fact that meal planning, preparation, you'll be amazed at how far it can actually take you. Okay, so like I said earlier about when you do a batch cook, then it's stops you from wanting to get those takeaways.
Absolutely,
Okay,
yeah.
looking at things that, you know, even taking like a Sunday or a day in the week where just a couple of hours or so to just plan your meals, know what you're going to have in the week, and then go grocery shopping just for that. All right. It will also cut down on time if you know what you're going to be doing, and also obviously do your meals according to what your schedule is going to be. Okay. There are so many options and things of how you can just actually focus on cheaper options in terms of, you know, food and vegetables and things like that. That'll really be within your budgets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Christine. Lovely information. And I think
It's only a pleasure.
if anyone takes anything from this, it's that it's not difficult and it's not expensive to eat healthily. So let's hope that it sinks in.
All right.